What up, database? Stated all 7 here.
Hello, Beth.
Bits here as usual. And today we're going to be discussing, or slash reviewing, Steve McQueen's The Hunter. Now, now let's just get off who is Steve McQueen. He was one of the most popular actors in the 60s and 70s. He had classic films such as The Great Escape, Bullet, among others. And sadly, The Hunter was his last film as he passed away at age 50 a few months after this film came out of mesothelioma.
That's just a dangerous condition, alright?
Yep, absolutely. All right, so let's just get into the plot. All right, so basically, Steve McQueen's character, he plays a guy named Ralph Thorson, or nicknamed Papa Thorson. And he's basically a bounty hunter, and he basically captures criminals who have jumped bail pretty much, and and brings them back as they do these days. So basically, the whole thing is that things are really not going well for him. Like he's about to be like his school teacher girlfriend Dottie is played by Catherine Harold. Old Old is pregnant, and he's having mixed feelings on becoming a father, and so, and it's basically, and then there's basically there's an ex-con who's basically out to kill him because he wants revenge for capturing him. Now, I will admit that part of the film really doesn't get it gets a little focus, but doesn't really have any true focus till pretty much the end.
Oh, yeah, it only sets up the stuff like a side story at the very beginning.
Yeah, and let's just talk about the car he drives this film. It's a '51 Chevy, and he let's just say he's a terrible driver. He can't get out of parallel parking without bumping someone
Oh,
else's
yeah,
car.
he's a pretty terrible driver. He would just be parking and just crash, crash. What are you doing with my car?
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Anyhow, the film opens up. He's in Illinois trying to get this guy who's just jumped his bail, and now this guy is just that typical guy that he just made a mistake and he's not likely to do it again. In fact, he actually becomes fairly part, or he reoccurs throughout this whole film, and the guy's I'm just saying the guy his name is played by LeVar Burton, and let's just say this guy definitely has a talent with technological stuff. It's yeah, I'd say if he stays out of trouble, I think he could make a really good career with it.
I mean, he probably could, yeah.
And he seems to. So so yeah, the next one he goes after, I believe, is the after this after this guy who apparently is related to the sheriff of a dangerous punk named Billy Joe. Pretty stereotypical Southern name if I've heard one. So pretty much in that scene, he's just like, and this guy's a big guy, and he's just in there making out with his girl, and he comes in and he basically has an old beanbag stun gun. I believe they had those before the electrical ones were ever made. And I will admit, this whole scene just ends up being more silly than actually serious. Like, he's getting thrown around, and then the girls just cheering Billy Joe on, which I just think is really stupid and silly. And so he basically gets hit. So basically, he blasts that beanbag at him, and hits him like a little below the rib cage, and he just falls over. Not very convincing. It's a little silly, don't you agree?
I guess that could be classified as a little silly.
It's silly. And uh, yeah, and like I said, it's this this film kind of has it's it's really I don't think it has any really true focus on one particular story. It's just him trying to get through life. Just,
While also fighting a bunch of criminals,
yeah,
which gets pretty crazy at some point.
yeah, and things are not really going for him. So then, all right. So then the the third time he basically goes after he goes I don't know if I'm doing this out of order, but he goes to I think Chicago. Sorry, I'm probably doing this out of order, but whatever, it doesn't matter. He then goes to Chicago to pick up this ex-con, which he goes on a very long chase with, and to the point he gets on a train and takes hostages.
Oh yeah, he took the little girl as a hostage, and the dude's just on top of the train, just trying to get back inside the train.
Yeah, yeah. Not to mention, this film is rated PG, and I don't think stuff like that would fly in PG movies today. It was old for a reason. And so, yeah. But he ends up not getting this one because with this little car chase, he plummets several stories from a parking garage into a river to, like his apparent demise. It's never known if he died or not. So yeah, that one was a huge loss. And then he ends up, and then the really final one before it gets any sort of the like the focus on the guy who's trying to kill him gets any focus. So he then gets sent to rural Nebraska to get two fugitives and that one's probably the craziest out of all of them because they're trying to bomb him with dynamite, and he ends up having to chase them. And what's that called? And what is that thing called that like cro- chops down crops?
A sickle?
No, it's a machine.
Oh, you're talking about crop harvest stuff?
Yeah, something. Is it a combine machine? I don't know.
Yeah, I think I call it combine harvesters or something. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. If you've seen Cars and you've seen the vehicle that Frank is, that's what the vehicle is. Oh. Yeah, kind of, and those two fugitives end up getting blown up in that car due to their own stupidity. But they miraculously both survive that explosion. All right, so basically, at this point in the film, he's just trying to do his work, but like he's having uncertain certain feelings to his towards his girlfriend, and I'd say working a job like that and being at home for your family would be pretty hard.
Oh yeah, I bet it would. But I mean, that's probably why you shouldn't have a family if you're a bounty hunter.
But if
Just
anything,
saying.
but if anything, I'm not even sure bounty hunters these days can even still cross state lines.
Oh, good point. I don't know if they can anymore. If they're even still a thing.
They still technically are. They still technically are, but they're not as big as they used to be. So, so yeah, I'm not even sure that. But again, this was a long time ago. So basically, that crazy guy who's out to kill McQueen's character. He's kind of been stalking, like his girlfriend, and like just making everything just a living hell for him and her. So finally, basically, he kidnaps he kidnaps her and is holding her hostage, and I believe her own school. Also, let's talk for a second about the weapon this guy has. It's an old M16 with the most clunky optic on it ever. It's ridiculous.
I don't remember what it looked like really,
It
but
looked
it
like
was
half a
ridiculous.
telescope.
That telescope.
It looked like half a big telescope. It was so ridiculous. And so, and like I said, unlike a lot of other films, there's not too much to really talk about, considering a lot of it is just kind of it has a lot of it has a little more story elements that like again this again that it's just one of those types of movies that's a little harder to talk about.
I mean, the movie is also all over the place.
Yeah, it is.
That movie is all over the place.
Yeah, so let's just get to the thing. He basically goes into this one classroom in the school, and he basically it's a chemistry lab, and he basically unleashes gases, which he ends up which like he basically opens fire, and then he basically blows himself up. So he gets lured in there, and he basically blows himself up due to stupidity. Yeah. And so after that, his girlfriend goes into labor, and so basically he gets into the hospital, and let's just say something here. He collapses in exhaustion right in the middle of the waiting room.
Oh yeah, it's like my girl is pregnant. She's going into labor, and he just passes out.
Yeah, he just passes out,
and they just walk over him basically. It's just like, yeah, we'll just leave him there for now.
Yeah, they end up getting him back up, and he's fine. But it's I start to wonder in a if that's foreshadowing towards something, but I doubt it is. I mean, foreshadowing to his inevitable death in real life, but I don't know, probably not. And basically, like she gives birth to the baby, and it pretty much just ends right there. Now let's talk about Steve McQueen as a whole. Basically, he did all of his own stunts, I believe, in this film, despite his poor health. And he was very notoriously hard to work with. But he was so popular that they just put up with him. All right, so and let's just deal with this because all right, so how's the movie as a whole? How's the movie as a whole? I thought it was pretty good. What did you think?
I thought it was, I just thought it was all over the place, but I guess entertaining, so it's just a short thing to watch.
Yeah, it was all, and it's not very long. It's only 97 minutes long. So yeah, as I said, this was sadly his last film before his death. So either way, I actually recommend this one, but don't expect it to be like a bunch of just over the top action. While there is some of that in there, that's not the point of it. It's just to tell the story of this character and his struggles with life. So, would you agree? Would you recommend this to a friend?
Probably not, considering it's not the kind of movie I tend to watch anyway.
Yeah. So we have. I'm just saying. I'd say let's leave at the conclusion. You might as well buy or rent it and basically draw your own conclusion. Would you say that's fair?
That's fair.
Yeah, me and him have very different tastes when it comes to films. But either way, I know this video is overdue, but well, we're coming at you now. I know this one's a little shorter, but either way, hey, tune in next time when I don't have anything particularly in mind next, but you will let you know when, but you'll know when we upload.
Yep, see you next time.
Yep, see you next time. This is Data.
And this is Ted.
Same peace.